Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. Now, I recently wrote an article on the subject of virtual influencers. And let me tell you, researching that post blew my mind. Because we've gone from buying virtual clothes for our game characters, and many have spent more time and money dressing those game characters than themselves during lockdown, where they might just get out of bed, stick a t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants on. But now, we are increasingly following virtual characters on Instagram and all the usual social platforms. And many of those virtual influencers have more followers and engagement than your human friends. I'll post a link to it on the show notes just so you can track it down. Honestly, it will really open up your eyes to a completely different world. But putting that to one side for a moment, today I want to just tackle the world of technology and influencer marketing. How can we make influencer marketing more transparent? And how can artificial intelligence help with fraud, especially with the huge problem on Instagram at the moment where we have wannabe influencers that have just bought an army of robot followers and yet have no engagement? So we're going to talk about all that and much more, including virtual influencers too. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to St. Petersburg so we can speak with Alex Frolov from Hype Auditor. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Nice to meet all of you guys. My name is Alex. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hype Auditor. We run an influencer analytical platform for transparent and fraud-free influencer marketing. So we have a bunch of tools, start from the analytic of accounts, including the fraud detection, and continues with the influencer discovery, competitive analysis, basically all the brands need to make their influencer marketing campaigns effective. So pretty big set of tools.
And there's so many things that I'm excited to talk with you about today, because obviously the events of the last 12 months have hit influencers particularly hard, because a lot of the travel influencers, for example, just can't travel anywhere, which kind of grinds them to a halt. But I'm curious, what kind of problems do you see in the world of influencer marketing right now?
Actually, I would see that it hit influencer industry, the pandemic in some way, but in some way, it grows it because people spend more times at their homes and they engage more with their influencers they like. That we see that some categories of influencer is dropping down, like travel, for example, or some outdoor activities. But some categories are really growing quite good. And in general, engagement rate and number of the audience is growing for the influencer marketing. Speaking about the problems of industry in general, I think the main problems do not change it during COVID. It's still the influencer fraud problem and the problem of measuring ROI. I think it's main two for the influencer marketing because, for example, in Instagram, there is still big fraud issue. Situation slightly changed, but still there is only 55% of all Instagram followers are real. All other are bots, inactive accounts, or mass followers. So the problem is still huge. And measuring ROI is always a big, difficult thing for the influencer marketing. Well, probably it's a problem of brands, not influencers, but it's still big.
Yeah, it feels like a real minefield at the moment because, like you said, there is a lot of Instagrammers out there that will have a huge fake following, and maybe they have at some point purchase some of those bot followers out there. Then we've got the genuine people who have a genuine big following, but it just takes a slight tweak of the algorithm by Instagram and they can be invisible to their followers. So can you tell me a little bit more about Hype Auditor's mission to make influencer marketing that much more transparent? Because it's so needed right now, isn't it?
Yeah. I would say the market start notice this issue like maybe 2-3 years ago, and it's still quite big. And basically, we ran our tool in February of 2018, and it was at first focused on fraud detection. But we develop a tool further, and we understand that it's not only about fraud detection, but also about finding right relevant audiences, about tracking your campaigns. So there could be also transparent and effective. So basically, all of our tools help brands and advertisers to see how quality the audience of influencers are, how quality are the posts and engagement rate with those posts influencers made, and so on. So basically, we bring AI analysis of the data to help understand the quality in the quite easy way.
And I recently wrote an article about virtual influencers and how in some cases they have up to 10 times more engagement than humans. So I'm curious, how are you seeing AI shaping the influencer marketing industry?
Actually, virtual influencers, it's a quite interesting topic. We, by ourselves in Hype Auditor, find it very interesting. We have a few articles that you can find in our blog about virtual influencers. In 2019, we listed 32 virtual influencer, and this year we expand this list to 88. So the number of noticed virtual influencers is growing, but it's still quite small. Yeah. It's more interesting to see it like a beginning of something big. You're quite right that engagement rate of virtual influencer is usually higher than real influencers. We find that in average, the virtual influencers have almost 3 times better engagement than the real influencer, and it's a quite big number. So basically, this thing is growing, and probably it could be like first steps ahead there, some kind of virtual reality, and probably it will be the part of our lives in quite nearest futures, because like virtual influencers is also a big point interest for brands, because they have like no limits. They could bring any identity that could be close to the brand identity they promote. You can basically create like kind of ideal humans that could be both interested for the brands to promote them and to the audiences, because they do it in the very interesting way. So I would say it's still very small part of the market, but it's growing, and it looks like first steps ahead the future, and it's quite interesting.
And on the flip side of that, to tackle the fraud problem, what kind of role do you see artificial intelligence playing in detecting influencer fraud?
Basically, I would say the artificial intelligence playing main role in the detecting influencer fraud, because all you can do manually is very limited, and because you have to analyze really big amounts of data, and even if you have like great experience and you can detect fraud manually, it takes like a huge amount of time to make it on a scale. And sometimes, like for example, when we talk about the comments authenticity, it's very hard for human to understand where it's comment left by real people or bots, or they're maybe participating in the comment pods. So basically, without artificial intelligence, it's probably impossible to do fraud detection on a scale. And on the other side, artificial intelligence make it very easy. Like, for example, Auditor detects 95.5 of all known fraud activity. And we show a very simple score. We call it audience quality score from 0 to 100 that tell you about the quality of the audience. And basically, as a human, you can look just at two numbers instead of spending a lot of time trying to detect everything manually. And it's super effective to use AI in these tasks.
And for businesses listening that would be interested in working with you, and especially around this influencer marketing technology, where should they begin, and what kind of technology do they need to implement for their marketing needs?
Basically, it depends on the need of the campaign. Like brands have several different targets. Most simple one, if they already work with the influencer, they can check quality of their accounts. Find do they have quality audience, do they have quality engagement, do they have right target audience for their brand, if they already work with the influencer marketing. If they don't, they can use a discovery tool to search over 19 million profiles and find the influencers that will be relevant for them. And even if they do not know at all what to do in influencer marketing, do not know what the strategies to use, in those cases, they can start with the competitive analysis and market analysis tools and see what other companies are doing in this field with what influencers are they working, how much do they spend, and maybe it would be the point where they could understand, okay, my strategy could be the same, but a little bit better, probably, and find their own way to the influencer marketing. So depends on the company stage. They can start from one of these tools, but there is always a way to get to the influencer marketing whenever stage it would be at the company right now.
And I've got to ask, I mean, this is a fairly big question. I don't want you to reveal too many of your secrets, but what is the secret to finding and perfectly matching the best influencer for brands? Because it is quite a balance to get right, isn't it?
Yeah. And actually, the first part of the secret started the client size, because the best influencer for a brand is the influencer with the audience that are affin to this brand, and brand must know its target audience very well. Like, it's the first point where everything begins. Like, you should know gender, age, like from what country they are and what language do they speak, what are the main interests. The better you know your audience, the easier it would be to find the right influencer. And technology make this selection of influencers very simple. Basically, you can just enter the discovery and use like 35 different filters to find the list of influencers with the relevant audience. So it's more important to understand who is your target audience, and then the tool can help you find the relevant influencers in very easy way. For sure, there will be the like human part in all of this. When you get the list of influencers, you still need to check them manually, see and do they have a content that is fit with your brand identity. But the technology can do very big part of work for you. It can help you select a list of right influencers, to select the influencers with the quality audience already, so you do not have to like buy fake followers. And from this list of quality influencers, you can manually pick up the ones you want. And it's like much less time consuming. Probably you will spend like just a little bit part of your time, maybe 5% of all time you can spend if you do everything manually.
And for anyone listening that's outside of this space and is curious how it could work in their world, do you have any examples that you could share that would just help listeners understand how you use tech to help businesses and the kind of results that you can achieve? Because I think that would be incredibly valuable in helping bring that to life for people listening.
Yeah, for sure. I was already tell something about selection process, and it's the part where like many brand begins, because it's basically their first question. Like if your company, you know who's your target audience, you probably already buy some paid social ads or use any kind of marketing channels, but you do not know how to enter influencer marketing field. And you can just go to the discover tool and start from like entering your key target audience parameters like age, location, gender, and so on. And first of all, you can find right influencers. And it's the part where you can begin when you already understand with whom you can probably work. The next stage would be like to find a relevant one for you, and it would be part of the quality check. It would be the part of your manual check, and then you can basically connect with them, because we also provide with the contact details that is publicly available from the most influencers. So you can use their email or phone to contact with them and start with a little bit test campaigns. If you want to develop the influencer marketing for your company further, probably you will need to hire agency or build your like in-house influencer marketing department. But to begin tests, you can just collaborate like with 5 to 10 influencers to start, and all it could be done manually using our tools, and it's quite simple. So you do not need to have like a huge investments to start. You just need to know your target audience and have some amount of time, do these test campaigns with the influencers and see how it works.
And we are reaching the end of 2020 and starting to look ahead at the kind of trends that will dominate the next year ahead. So what kind of trends do you think will dominate influencer marketing next year and beyond?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because 2020 was quite unpredictable year.
Yeah.
Like everyone expect the further growth of the industry and its acceleration. But in some case, is growth in terms of activity and engagement. But in some part, it's was on the same level because of the pandemic. Like the budgets hold on the same level, I would say, in average as 2019. So first of all, I expect that in 2021 the industry will continue to grow, because everyone like stopped being freezing from the pandemic times and adapt the strategy to a new reality. And in new reality, influencers playing quite a big role. More and more people are interested in them, engage with them. So it's definitely becomes more important channel for more brands. So there will be more budgets for the next year, and I would say the industry will continue to grow. Speaking about the local trends, how it will grow, like I would say that micro influencers still would be important, and they will continue to rise because like as we all see, like probably everyone in the schools want to become the influencers. It's a new profession everyone wants to get, everyone wants to be in. So there's more and more micro influencers on the market, and it's quite important to scale your influencer marketing using not only stars but also a lot of macro and mid-tier influencers. But also there will be stricter guidelines for advertising, and that means that for brands and influencers it would be like important to follow some guides when they make advertising, and those guides will be probably stricter next year. So industry is in the process of like formalization of the rules. And like I would say there will be two more trends if we speak, like if we want to speak about whole picture. First one would be continuously domination of the short videos, like a main influencer format. We see that how fast TikTok is growing, where the short video is the main format. But also in Instagram, the stories format is becoming more and more important, dominating the main content that was previously on the feed. So we will continue to see the growth of these formats. So you definitely need to use it in your marketing campaigns if you still don't. And the last one, the trend that continuously growing, and that is basically most close to our business, is increasing of using artificial intelligence in the influencer marketing process. And it becomes more and more complicated, and it helps with everything from finding right influencer to recommend right topics, formats, channels, to recommend how performance optimization could be done for your campaigns. It's with every year, it's become more and more helpful. And for those companies who are still do everything manually, probably there is not too many of them left. But for those who still do it, it's a big recommendation to switch to using some AI tools because it's really important to stay on the wave and to be like ahead of the market. Like it's becomes one of the main things that can make your strategy effective. So yeah, it was quite a long speech, but I think I speak about all of the trends I have in my mind.
No, I absolutely love that. And I love chatting with you today. But before I do let you go, for anyone listening that would like to find out more information or how they can work with you or how they can contact your team, what's the best place they can go to do that?
It's quite easy. They can go to hypeauditor.com and at our website, they can find a lot of information. We are quite transparent company. So we have examples of the reports that you can find directly on the landing page. So you can see how our product really looks like, what information do we provide, and you can schedule a demo call. It's very easy, where some person from the team will demonstrate the product for you, and it's usually takes from 15 to 20 minutes, and they can not take a lot of time from you, but show you what the product really can do, and you better check it because it's really impressive. And even if you do not run influencer marketing campaigns right now, you can just visit our website to read the blog, because there you can find a lot of interesting articles about the industry, like, for example, about the virtual influencers, or about how the TikTok market evolves. So there's a bunch of interesting information in our blog. So for any person, I would recommend to visit our website. It would be useful if you somehow connected to the influencer marketing.
Well, I'll add all those links to the blog post just so people can find you nice and easily. There's so much I've loved about our conversation today, in particular learning how artificial intelligence is both shaping the influencer marketing industry and why more companies should start to think about implementing the technology for their influencer marketing needs. Great. So many big talking points there, but a big thank you for taking the time to share them with me today.
Thanks for your time. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
What a great guy Alex is there. And I do hope I get to meet him in person one day. And so much I loved about today's conversation, such as Hype Auditors' mission to make influencer marketing transparent, how AI can shape the influencer marketing industry, and how AI can also detect influencer fraud. But I'd love to know your thoughts on anything we've talked about today. And I'd also invite you to check out my blog post on virtual influencers. I'm interested in your opinion on that too. So whether it's about virtual influencers, hype auditors, or you just want to come on the podcast or ask me a question, email me now, techblogwriter@outlook.com. My website is techblogwriter.co.uk. I am curious on your thoughts on this one. If not, if you're far too busy to email the podcast host because you're cycling, running, or just too busy in general, don't worry, I completely get that. All I ask is that you join me again on another episode of Tech Talks Daily. So thanks for listening today, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.